For me, it's just a matter of trust and relationship. And I feel like the more of that we can do, the more trust we can build and the more of a relationship we can muster with these guys, the better off we're going to be. This is Rocky, and we've had Rocky for about 13 years. He is pretty much a rock-steady horse, just in general. But he's still a horse. So some of the stuff that we were talking about with Steve this morning. So you could see when the horses left that were outside, he started to get a little animated, started to worry a little bit. When he first came in here, he carried that worry in with him. And then you can see him now just kind of downshifting, like we were talking about. Again, I'm not doing anything with him other than just staying here with him. But you can kind of see the longer he's in here, the more things feel better to him. The reason I wanted to bring him in was to sort of show you the difference. So I'm gonna get on him here in a second. But I wanted to show you the difference between the horse that we were just working with, who's kind of going up towards the higher end of the scale, and then Rocky. This is a horse that we were talking this morning about how horses are able to sense when you're worried or you're troubled, and that they can also sense other things. So they can sense when you want to trot. They can sense when you want to stop. They can sense when you want to go sideways or backwards. They can sense when you want to go faster or slower. My goal when I work with horses is to have them be able to move as easily with me on their back as they can by themselves. So that's my goal, which just means I have to get out of the way a lot. So I want to set it up, ask my horse to do something, and then get out of the way and let him do it. And so with all of this stuff that we've been talking about, especially with the stuff that we were talking about with Steve, this morning when I said that after we visited with him the first time, that I came out and it was like I was looking at a completely different animal. It was like there was a completely different understanding of this. It was like it wasn't even a horse. It was like something else that I'd never seen before. It was that dramatic for me, because now it was like I had an understanding of why these horses do the things that they do. What are we doing with him as far as his brain function and how he feels? And for me, it's always been about just trying to keep everything as quiet as I possibly can. So, meaning I want to be as soft as I can be when I'm working with these guys. When I say soft as I can be, that's as soft as I can be. That doesn't mean as soft as I want to be necessarily. It means as soft as I can be. Sometimes that's just a thought, and sometimes it might be everything I got. So, but I've worked with him from the start with that in mind. And we work with all of our horses the same way. So we treat them like horses. We don't treat them like dogs or cats or people. Like Steve was saying this morning, we don't put human emotions and feelings on these guys, or try not to anyway. We just work with them the way we work with them. And so anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to climb aboard here and see how he does, and we'll just show you a couple of little things. Everything's going to come from the inside first. So it goes back to what we were talking about this morning about him being able to sense something. Him being able to sense that we're going to go from our walk to our halt to our walk, or from our walk to our halt, or from our walk to a trot. Or from our trot to our walk. And then maybe from our walk to a halt. But the idea is that before I offer him any physical aids, the first thing I want to do is offer an internal aid. If we put ourselves into whatever it is that we're asking him to do, so in other words, if I become part of what I'm asking him to do, then it's him and I, one thing. It's my horse and I, one thing, not my horse and I. So my horse and I, one word, in other words. The feel of this would be as if I'm on the ground by myself without my horse. How would I do this? Right? So then if I was going to go sideways, if I was going to do some lateral something, right? How would I do that? What would that look like? Right? How would I do that? So I'm just basically putting that feel in my body. So I'm not necessarily thinking about it. It's more of a feel. So we're going to ask him to back, and we're going to ask him to speed the back up. Again, you see I'm not doing anything with my hands. I'm asking him to slow the back down to a stop, and then we're going to back again. And then we're going to maybe back a little quicker. And then right at the end here, we're going to do just a little bit of a turn. And then we're going to ride forward. Okay? I don't want to have to do anything that is going to cause him to have to compensate for me if I can help it. I have to be able to ride him in a way to where I'm moving with him. And any muscles that I tighten, he's going to tighten corresponding muscles. If you watch him, he'll tell you what I'm tightening. Okay? So if you watch him, he'll tell you what I'm tightening. He hates it when I do that. What I did was I tightened my toes in my right boot. So now I'm going to do it again and watch his right hind foot. So as we're moving, watch what happens when I start to tighten. Okay? Watch what locks up. It's the first thing to lock up. And then when I open my toes up, the walk comes back. Okay, so that's hard to see. Yeah? So we'll do this instead. Now watch what happens. And then when we open this up, then he can move again. So if I tighten my jaw, knock it off. All right. So this is kind of mostly just what I wanted to show you today with him. The opportunities that are there. The key to this is self-control, controlling yourself, and only using what you need. I wouldn't say he's on automatic pilot. Steve might have a different opinion. Where's Steve? There he is. Basal ganglia. She was saying that because he's a little distracted, but he's still doing what we were asking him to do.
He's still alert and aware of everything around him. But those motor patterns, you're right, have been passed on to the basal ganglia. So you're driving your car along, and the basal ganglia is taking care of everything. But if a car comes out in front of you, you automatically switch back, and your sympathetic nervous system kicks in and you can respond. It's not like you blocked out everything around you. So he's still aware and reacting to things around him. But you're right, he's passed a lot of those behaviors. He says, okay, I think I know where we go from here with the sense I'm getting from Mark. So I'm playing this record. And Mark is, in his way, saying, yep, you chose the right record. And there you go. They're in harmony together. I think it's a good addition to actually see this, because there's slides and there's stills and things like that, but to just watch. And then you take that image home with you to start to look for some of the same things in your own horses. So I think that was and especially, Mark and I had talked about it, but the juxtaposition of seeing one horse that's kind of up here, struggling to get down the parasympathetic nervous system, and then one that's feeling a little bit of stress, but actually Rocky's so resourceful over time, he's learned to calm himself. He doesn't need Mark to calm him down. He knows the drill.
Yeah. I'd like to think he needs me, but he doesn't really. But the whole goal is to help him be able to be that way. And you can do this on your own. That's the whole goal.